No,
back away from God?
I do not believe so.
So once you go there, all bad thoughts, all sin is taken away from you?
Yes.
You don't have that option?
Yes. I don't think that I think either one, we won't have that option, or two, we won't choose that option. And it will never happen.
If we don't have that option, then it wouldn't kind of change the personality that we have?
No, not necessarily. Right? So a lot of people think, if God doesn't let us sin in heaven, then he's taking away our free will. Well, free will is simply making a decision without being forced. We would say that God has free will, but God doesn't sin. Right? He just has multiple good options to choose from, and he chooses one. So I think the same thing is going to be true for us in heaven. Now, I think there's two very plausible explanations for it. Either one, Scripture says that when we're there, that we will receive glorified bodies, that our natures will be changed at a fundamental level, so that we will be, so to speak, more like God in the sense that we will have free will without the possibility of sinning, that we will only have good thoughts. So I think that's one thing, and the very fact that our natures are changed at a core level. I think a second very good explanation, and of course I forgot it, I normally grab a pen and I bring it up with me. And here's, I think, a practical example. I have my keys. What would it take for me to take my key and just shove it into my eyeball? Now, you just responded like everyone does. Why do you respond like that?
It's gross.
That's crazy. That's gross. That's stupid, right? Now, why is that so dumb? It's my eyeball. I know better. I know how stupid it is to take this and jam it into my eyeball. You could offer me $1 million. I'm not going to do it. I could live for 1,000,000 years. I'm not going to do it. Now, do you go and give this key to a 2-year-old? Well, actually, you do give keys to little kids. Do you give sharp objects to little kids? No, why not? Because they will hurt themselves. They don't know any better. So I think that's a possible explanation. I think the major one is that our natures will be transformed at a very core level. But I think another possible explanation is that we live on this earth, and one thing that we're doing is we're learning how stupid sin is. Your parents tell you the stove is hot. You don't realize it until you actually touch it. You burn yourself, and now you don't touch the stove ever again. You realize that was a bad decision. I'm not going to do it again. So I think that one thing that we have that the angels and especially Satan did not have, Satan, when he fell, never had seen the consequences of sin. He had never seen the consequence of rebelling against God. Same thing with Adam and Eve. They had lived in this perfect place. They had never seen the consequence of rebellion. And so when Satan offered rebellion to Adam and Eve and said, you can do this, they were like, wow, that sounds really good. Same thing with Satan. Ooh, I want that power. That sounds really good. He never seen the consequence. We now have lived a life of evil, pain, and suffering as a result of human rebellion. We have seen the pain and the suffering and the evil and the hurt that comes from humans making bad choices to rebel against God. And so I think it's possible when we get in heaven, not only will our natures be renewed, but we're going to remember our current life, and we're going to go, yeah, I'm not going back to that. I could exist for an eternity, millions and billions of years in heaven. I'm never going to do that again because what I have here is good. And we're going to be able to have that comparison. Just like I can say, I'm never going to stick that key in my eyeball. It's just stupid. And we'll say the same thing about sin, I think, that when we're in heaven. So either one, I don't have a hard position. Either one, we can sin, but we're always going to choose not to. But I think even more plausible is that we just won't be able to. Not only because it's dumb, but because our natures are transformed. We'll be more like God. The fact that God can't sin. But it won't change us because we will still have human free will. We're still going to be making choices. There'll be only good options.